Do you guys remember Pucca? She, along with her love interest Garu, started out as an e-card character and was created by a company called Voozga back in 2000. Growing up, I remember I used to see flash animations of Pucca everywhere online. She was an iconic, cute mascot, a close second to Sanrio's own band of cute characters. Except instead of finding her merch in like a Sanrio store, you most likely saw her merch at maybe your local Chinatown or other Asian mall stores like Morning Glory during this decade. She was memorable for being dedicatedly in love with Garu. Her brand was typically accompanied with the phrase funny love, and eventually Pucca grew to star in her own show on Jetix, which aired in 2006, a show that I would routinely watch with my little nephews after school, despite it being, let's be honest, a B-tier show. B-tier, but don't get me wrong, she was still iconic. And she had her own mobile games too. I remember there was one summer in 2013 when one of my friends got me absolutely hooked on the Pucca and Friends mobile game, which was essentially a cute little restaurant simulator. Yeah, I was glued to my phone that summer. After that though, Pucca kind of faded to the back of my mind. Over the years, the Asian stores that I frequented ceased to sell her merch, and I had kind of aged out of the series, so I didn't pay the latest season any mind. I thought Pucca would just fade into obscurity if she hadn't already. That is until about 2 weeks ago when I see this short posted by the official Pucca socials. And let me just say, the fans and I did not like this one bit. I couldn't believe that a children's show was creating what seemed to be MAGA propaganda. I don't know, it's a bit confusing because the bird poops on Donald Trump, but the "let's go Trump" at the end makes it seem like the series is rooting for Donald Trump, which is extremely weird. And what's this Pucca cryptocurrency thing that they keep advertising? What the hell are with the new animation? Why are her limbs so long? I was scared. What the hell is happening with Pucca? Well, it turns out the answer is a lot. Ever since the official Pucca socials posted this Trump video, the Pucca fandom has been scrambling to figure out what the hell happened to this franchise. There were accusations that the new owner of the franchise, a man who goes by the name of Jimmy, whose real name might possibly be Sung Woo, actually hacked the YouTube channel and other Pucca socials. This is because a separate Twitter account that goes by the handle Voozga, who claims that they are Boo Kyung Kim, the original creator of Pucca, made several tweets claiming that the Pucca YouTube channel got hacked, pleading with fans and YouTube to help them get the channel back. And seeing as how strange the new Pucca videos and involvement with crypto were, fans took that story and ran with it. And so the Pucca IP getting stolen became the main narrative. And I wish it were as straightforward as that, because that makes the most sense. But unfortunately, it's seeming more and more that that is not the case. The problem with trying to formulate a straightforward explanation is that there are a lot of conflicting statements floating around on the internet, a lot of unconvincing statements as well. But most of all, there is a lot of disappointment. A shit ton, unfortunately. But let's start at the beginning. It seems to have started as early as May or July of 2024, at least based on these Redditors' comments. It's a bit iffy to me whether the Pucca meme coin was officially announced during this time, or if the new owners of the IP were just suggesting it in the subreddits and Discord servers to try to get a feel for if fans would buy into it. But apparently the Pucca meme site that was promoting the meme coin was up and running by the summer of 2024. A fan had stumbled onto the site, and the page played this very odd video featuring Pucca dressed in the style of Lilu from Fifth Element, which is like kind of an odd choice because Pucca is like 11. Even if the art style isn't very suggestive, I don't know if I would put an 11-year-old in Lilu's outfit, but okay. The fan claims that the YouTube video was unlisted on the official YouTube page when they discovered it. I could not confirm if this was true. I even tried using the Wayback Machine, but the video is now public on the YouTube channel, and it appears to have been made at least 3 years ago. It was uploaded on March 30th, 2021, so it seems they had plans for Pucca cryptocurrency as early as 2021. Now, there are some disputes though regarding this particular video. Some claim that the original video wasn't this weird Fifth Element Pucca video, and that the original thumbnail actually looked like this. As you can see in this screenshot, the video length is also different, implying that it was a longer video and more likely a completely different video. However, no one seems to have the supposed original video saved. And again, as much as I wish the whole Pucca NFT thing weren't real, I kind of have to assume that this screenshot is fake, because I personally don't think a children's brand would leave this sort of warning up as their thumbnail. Or if it was was just a message displayed on screen, I don't know why they would leave it up for this long into the video as shown on the progress bar. Plus, they misspelled meme coin, and I don't think it's necessary to say that Pucca is copyright both Vooz Inc. and Kim Boo-kyung. I think the latter half is kind of implied when you say Vooz since it's his company. So that's why I personally think this screenshot is fake. Maybe it was a different video before and they replaced it with their weird Fifth Element video, but I don't think this particular screenshot was part of the original video. However, if any of you guys stumble upon the original video and want to repost that, I'd be happy to be proven wrong. But anyhow, during this time, Jimmy begins or is steadily infiltrating Pucca fan spaces, such as the Pucca fan subreddit, Discord servers, and the wiki itself, where he starts promoting the new crypto and asserting himself as the new IP owner. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't see a majority of Jimmy's original Reddit posts or comments since he was banned from the subreddit, and I think his account got completely deleted. So really all I have to go on are context clues based on people's replies and comments regarding his character. But I did manage to find a screenshot of one of his original posts on the subreddit. From official IP owner. Hey Pucca fans, sorry for the delayed response on Reddit. I am not a regular Reddit user, but going forward, I would like to engage more to communicate with our fan base. Pucca's leadership has changed. Unfortunately, the way it was going with Pucca, it was going to disappear forever, hence why there were no news. And as an original fan myself, I couldn't see this run poorly and had to do something. What Jimmy is likely referring to here is the inactivity of many of the Pucca social media sites, as well as the original Korean Pucca website being taken down, especially since the official Pucca YouTube had been inactive for about 2 years before it started posting again under Jimmy's leadership. But back to the post. So I decided to take over this with a group of smart individuals who are also Pucca fans and wanted to relight everything back as an epic comeback. We have learned that the fans have a lot of ideas for future season of Pucca, so it's important that we get together for an epic comeback for Pucca in 2025. I also want to clarify my vision on Web3 cryptocurrencies. I see a lot of people against this idea of Pucca entering into the space, but what I truly want to achieve is how to build a true Pucca community with fans that are tight as ever as a family, and also give some freedom and crowdsource ideas for content creation, so that we can build truly decentralized production company while every contributor gets some sort of reward for building this together. I am trying to build the foundation of this, and a lot of negative media may give you guys some prejudice, but we really shouldn't be fighting over this. At the end of the day, what we are here for is innovating Pucca, so that our beloved character comes back with new season that every fan awaited for, and we make the pioneer movement in achieving such that this makes a big impact in history, and Pucca will last forever. Let's make the global movement together, guys. So, as you could probably gather, Jimmy sees himself as the savior of this dying franchise, and is giving the message that it's not truly about the crypto. The crypto is just a means to unify fans and give them some sort of stake in the IP. Something like that. I don't know, the wording's kind of weird. I personally think that in this statement, he is dodging the criticism of the use of crypto by posing this move as some sort of fandom unifier instead. I find the phrase, "we really shouldn't be fighting over this," to be kind of gaslighty, as though the outrage is not justified and this meme coin is not optional for the fans. Yeah, but that's my personal opinion. How did others react to Jimmy's vision for the future of Pucca? Well, not well, it seems. And from what I gathered, it seemed like Jimmy had a tendency to relentlessly attack people, or at the very least, continue to respond passive-aggressively to people who reacted negatively towards the idea of a Pucca cryptocurrency. Please do not give any money to this Jimmy guy. Look at how he's acting on here. What kind of guy trying to revive a business goes on Reddit to insult the people who he's actively trying to sell to? People have obvious concerns about him and his ideas, and he does nothing to help people get on his side. He says he doesn't need to crowdsource, yet he continues to do so while, once again, insulting anyone who disagrees with its methods. The way he responds to people puts me off. I just have no faith in this guy. Reading his responses, talking about how we should put in money instead of complaining. I mean, these comments are supported by how Jimmy still speaks today. Just look at this tweet that he tweeted out from the Pucca and Crypto account just last week. Incredible how you claim to be a fan, yet have no understanding of what is going on with the IP. The reason you're unaware is due to a lack of communication over the last 6 years. This will soon change as the real owners will communicate with the fans. The Pucca IP would have remained dormant unless we stepped in and acquired the IP for for 8 figures. This is all part of a plan called the Pucca Revival Plan. As human beings, we are accustomed to change as it is inevitable. Embrace it. Our goal is to give the fans what they want, and it's obvious another season is what the fans want. This we will discuss with fans in due course. Look, I can understand that Jimmy, if he had truly purchased the IP legally, is probably having to deal with a lot of internal business turmoil. Saving a dying franchise is no easy feat, and I'm sure there are a lot of sticky situations you can get into when you're transferring over the rights of an IP. You'll unfortunately inherit a lot of the problems. However, as tough as it is, I do think it is a bad business move to tell fans that they don't know what they're talking about and that change is inevitable. It's a weird move to say that your goal is to give fans what they want, and yet when they say that they do not want Pucca and cryptocurrency, your response is to insist that change is necessary. It all comes off with this very condescending tone of fans should be grateful that I'm saving this series when no one asked you specifically, Jimmy. But aside from this, the other problem was that no one really believed that he had legally purchased the IP because he wasn't giving anyone convincing proof that he had. He had posted some pictures of a supposed office space that the new Pucca team was working from, but it wasn't convincing enough to sway fans. And to be fair to Jimmy, yeah, normally a CEO wouldn't have to straight up post their papers online to prove that they own a brand. I don't know how media works in Korea, but I think whenever there is some sort of new CEO takeover, that usually gets announced in American outlets here, and I don't think there was that same transparency over there in Korea. So there's that hurdle. And at the same time, Jimmy's own actions were just so akin to that of a scammer that it's honestly hard to think of him as a professional, you know? Only scammers are this pushy and rude to the people that they're trying to scam. Again, for legal reasons, I'm not saying that Jimmy is a scammer, but I am saying that his behavior is like a scammer. Yeah, because you know what else is a weird move? Editing a wiki page so that it celebrates you as a hero to a dying franchise. Because that is another thing that Jimmy tried to do. I think I mentioned earlier how Jimmy started infiltrating the fan subreddit, Discord server, and wiki page. And while I couldn't access the supposed Discord that he frequented, I did manage to find his wiki page account and dig through his contributions history a bit. And yeah, it's more of the same stuff where he's replying to people trying to convince them that he's not a crypto scammer and insisting that he's the rightful owner of the IP. But can I just say that I found it so hilarious that on December 6th of 2024, he attempted to edit the Vooz wiki page to say this: Vooz unfortunately went bust during the COVID-19 pandemic, leaving the fate of Pucca hanging by a thread. The franchise seemed destined to disappear with no activity for several years, and none of the official websites functional. In 2024, Jimmy, a devoted Pucca fan, decided to purchase the Pucca IP to save it from the stagnation caused by the original Vooz team, who had no plans to produce new content. It was heartbreaking to see such a beloved franchise at risk of fading away. Recognizing the importance of revitalizing the business, Jimmy and the new team, including some former star employees of Vooz, are working tirelessly to reignite Pucca's charm. As part of this effort, they are rebranding Vooz to simply Pucca to revive the brand and bring it back to life. One of their key strategies is to build a vibrant and engaging community. Like, what? It goes on. Do you see how it goes on? I'm sorry that I'm just reading a lot of things to you guys in this video, but I just find this behavior to be incredibly unhinged. Like, everything that comes out of this Jimmy guy's mouth is either defensive or trying to convince you that he and his team are good, dedicated people trying to unite fans or whatever. It's so forced in my opinion. Innovative approach. Why are you using marketing language on what should be a neutral, informative wiki page? What the hell is this? It kind of feels like when a guy keeps saying over and over again that he's a nice guy, and so you start questioning whether he actually is or not. That's what this feels like. And then we have this section where Jimmy explains how the blockchain would work. Your crypto peddling does not belong on the Vooz wiki page. What? If we are no longer talking about Vooz and are just talking about your Pucca brand, I do not think this slot belongs on the Vooz wiki page. If you wanted to lay this all out, you should have just made a separate wiki page titled Transition from Vooz to Pucca 2024. I don't know, I just found this to be crazy. Anyway, if you think I'm looking a little frustrated right now, I'm mostly just in disbelief at how, in my opinion, stupidly Jimmy and his team handled the transition. Hardcore Pucca fans are the ones who were understandably the most frustrated because not only were they dealing with this guy and his very professional level of tact, but he was messing with an IP that they were emotionally invested in. But just as how Jimmy was working tirelessly to prove that he was on the fans' side, fans were also working tirelessly to dismantle any sort of authority authority Jimmy had on socials. I already mentioned how Jimmy got banned from the subreddit, and the overwhelming support for Voozga eventually swayed Twitter to take Jimmy's checkmark away. A checkmark that he held with such pride and authority. In addition, the Pucca World subreddit, which was a subreddit for promoting the new Pucca brand rollout, was also banned supposedly due to malicious reporting, according to the Jimmy team member who seemed to be in charge of its promotion. Even before all of this though, Jimmy and his team could sense the growing dissatisfaction from fans, so they announced on the Pucca YouTube channel that they would host a live stream on January 29th, in order to explain the situation and answer fans' questions once and for all. Many fans on the Pucca subreddit were pessimistic about the live stream, predicting that they would be met with the same general passive aggressiveness that was usually bestowed upon them by Jimmy. And unfortunately, they were kinda right. On January 29th, the Pucca livestream was hosted by Kamal, the COO for the new Pucca brand under Jimmy. According to Jimmy, he was chosen to handle this livestream since he is much better at this and not emotional. And if any of y'all have seen the livestream, Now, I have a lot of opinions regarding this live stream and how Kamal handled it, but before I go on about that, let me cover some of the evidence and talking points Kamal brought up in the live stream. For evidence regarding the acquisition of the IP, Kamal shared this picture, which is supposed to be of Jimmy meeting up with Pucca Kim. We can see the text in the back says Pucca DAO founders, Pucca DAO being the original name of the cryptocurrency project before they changed it to Pucca Coin. This image is part of a collection of images that Jimmy posted on the Pucca wiki, by the way. I suppose as a way to confirm his ties with Pucca Kim. Kamal then briefly shared these pictures of the founders agreement. Now keep in mind though, I am not a lawyer or any sort of legal writer in any capacity, so I do not have the authority to judge the contents of the document, but as an average intelligence white-collar denizen, I do find the pages Kamal chose to share also strange. The first page here doesn't really give us much information, it just gives us the purpose of the agreement and some definitions of terms, and the second page's highlighted section only talks about how the business of the company is to push Pucca Coin, which kind of makes me question a few things. Like, I don't think this document necessarily establishes that Jimmy is the sole owner of the IP or anything like that. It more so looks like this document really just establishes this separate company that makes Pucca Coin, identifying both Jimmy and Pucca as the founders of this meme coin company, but again, not a legal writer. The non-disparagement and representations and warranties sections are also interesting to me as an outsider. The non-disparagement section says that the founders agree not to make any disparaging or derogatory remarks, comments, or statements about the company, its products, services, employees, subsidiaries, or affiliates, whether orally, in writing, or through any other medium. This is interesting to me because Jimmy and his team have gone on to call Pucca Kim greedy and selfish in both writing and on the live stream.
His goal at the end of the day, if you put one and one together, is financial gain, which I'm sure to many fans like myself is a horrible thing to hear.
Which makes me wonder if they're breaking this non-disparagement clause, unless this contract was broken or altered after the fact and is not technically the most recent document. Again, cannot stress enough, I do not have a legal background and these are my own personal musings. And then in the representations and warranties section, it says the founders of the company each represents and warrants that he is not currently bankrupt and there are no pending bankruptcy proceedings against him. Furthermore, each of the founders represents and warrants that any existing legal, regulatory, and court actions involving him are either settled or in the process of being settled, and these actions do not have any adverse impact on the business operations of the company and its subsidiaries and affiliates. Again, I kind of wonder how this clause played out in the whole Jimmy versus Pucca debacle, because Jimmy in a Reddit post as well as Kamal in the live stream went on to reveal how Pucca had run the Voozga company to the ground and accumulated a bunch of debt. And I do believe that Jimmy in a separate post talked about how Pucca was essentially trying to use Voozga money to pay off his own personal debts, which I feel like would count as affecting the operations of a company. Of course though, bankruptcy and large amounts of debt are two different matters. Very possible that Pucca's large amount of debt, if that is true, technically doesn't count as a bankruptcy and thus does not technically violate the clause, but I think the possibility of violating the non-disparagement section is a little more side-eyeable given the aggressiveness of Jimmy's team towards Pucca. Again, these are my personal speculations that I'm talking out loud. If you have legal background, let me know what you think. Anyway, other pages shown to us by Kamal are just the roles and responsibilities of Jimmy, who is listed as the CEO of the Pucca Coin Company, and of Boo, who is listed as the Chief Brand Officer. Ooh, okay, now this is where it also gets interesting because Jimmy actually said in a wiki page page reply that was posted on January 28th that they brought in a new chief brand officer. So I wonder if they removed Boob from the meme coin project completely or demoted him to a different role. Based on the language from the live stream, I have to assume they removed Boob from the project completely. In which case then, I also have to wonder, is this document that they showed us just completely defunct? Yes, this document proved that they had some sort of relations with Young in the past, but like, what has changed since then? These are the questions I was asking at 3 a.m. when I wrote this script. As many in the live stream comments were pleading, "CoffeeZilla, we need you." Other than that though, Kamal did not bother explaining the document because he thought the topic would be boring. Boring is literally the word he used. He then went on to talk about how Young sold the Pucca IP solely as a way to make money, which I think is incredibly ironic, given how it seems like Jimmy and his team only revived the IP and created this meme coin to make money. After all, they created the meme coin website before they created the official Pucca webpage. I don't know, I personally think that's just kind of a detail that shows where their interests truly lie. That aside, then Kamal proceeded to attempt to answer some questions. Now, this is the part of the live stream that made it really annoying to watch. I suppose when Jimmy said that Kamal doesn't get as emotional, what he truly meant is that Kamal puts on some pretentious persona and scoffs at any backlash he receives regarding the handling of the IP. Because that is essentially what he did. Anytime anyone brought up how they thought crypto was a bad way to handle the funding of the series, or how crypto was just associated with scams in general, he essentially answered with either a "you have a wrong opinion and you're just ignorant about crypto" statement, or a "yeah, meme coins are mostly scams, but not us though, we're different."
Again, this is your opinion and it's against the opinion of highly successful media marketing individuals. To say crypto is not the future, you're misinformed, probably not up to date with what's happening within the financial sector. 99.9% of meme coins are a scam, yes. I will say that again and again. Doesn't mean that every meme coin is a scam. There are successful meme coins. I don't understand what people think is controversial about Elon Musk. Well, some people's comments are just...
Which I don't know how he doesn't understand that this is not very convincing or reassuring as a fan. Yeah, he said that if you don't like the meme coin, you don't have to buy the meme coin, but isn't the whole point of this Q&A and you talking to us to convince us to invest in the meme coin? Because that's what you make it seem like. That's what you and Jimmy make it seem like. You really want us to invest in this fucking meme coin. That, or maybe the goal wasn't truly to unite the fans like they say, because his responses very much felt like they were just alienating fans instead. Additionally, in the live stream, he addressed the Trump shorts and general involvement of political figures in Pucca. Now, Kamal claimed that this short was not meant to be in support of Trump, and he mentioned how the bird in the short even poops on Trump. He once again includes some gaslighting language and attitude in his response, making it seem like the video was very clearly ambiguous and not in clear support of Trump. When the end of the short says "let's go Trump," am I supposed to interpret this as a neutral statement? I don't know if anyone told you this, but "let's go" seems kind of encouraging. Not to mention that this wasn't even the first time Trump made an appearance on Pucca socials. He also appeared on the Pucca TikTok page, unfortunately. What's so funny too is that when someone had a positive question like, "what are your plans for season 4?" his response was essentially, yeah, well, I'd answer that, but I don't really want to because it's late and I'm tired.
Great question. This is something we are not going to discuss on this stream because we are now coming to 3/4 of an hour, and frankly speaking, it's quite late for me.
It was like 9 p.m. where he was, which I personally don't think that's late to begin with, but to each their own. But more importantly, he and his team are the ones who decided on the time in the first place. And I don't know, if you're trying to cater to fans and convince them that you're looking out for their best interest, wouldn't you want to engage with the ones who actually want to engage with you? Am I saying a wild concept here? Also, like, in so many statements released by Jimmy's team, they acknowledge that ultimately fans want another season. If they don't want to address the complaints about crypto, they could at least address the second most important issue, an actual positive talking point that all fans could be excited about. But that's a question you're trying to avoid? Where is your PR manager actually? Like, hello guys, am I crazy or was this terribly run? Kamal, as a response to the overwhelming negative reception of the crypto, mentioned how they could also just host a crowdfund instead of pushing the meme coin, which I don't know why they didn't suggest that earlier, considering how pissed off everyone was getting about the meme coin. Anyway, all that to say, the live stream was pretty miserable. I know I just ranted about the live stream a bunch, but I did find this one comment that I think summarizes my thoughts on the live stream pretty well. I don't care if it was hacked or not. The things you people are doing with Pucca's IP are embarrassing, with the worst being the meme coin and getting involved in US politics. You don't care about Pucca. You're not a savior. You're just exploiting nostalgia fans have for your own financial gain. Pucca is back. No, she's not. She just has her face slapped onto a cryptocurrency, adding nothing of value to her character. Yeah, pretty much. And that about sums it up for where we're at in regards to Jimmy's side of things. Kamal did mention that there would be another live stream next week where he would actually address what the plans are for season 4. But to be honest, folks, I have serious doubt that anything of actual value or interest will be said in that one. I have a feeling that Jimmy and his team are kind of just deep in the crypto game. And as we saw in the founders agreement, they're not allowed to say anything bad about their product. So I don't think we'll ever get them to admit crypto was a terrible idea. That, and I do not think Jimmy's team have any ideas for a season 4, considering how they keep wanting to get ideas from fans. And yes, while it's a performative way to show that they care about what the fans think, obviously from what we've seen with how they've handled the crypto situation, they don't actually care about what fans think. And I think they want to get ideas from fans because they don't actually know what Pucca is about, as evidenced by these memes that just scream, Pucca would not fucking do that. Like, so much of their advertisement goes against Pucca's original branding. Like, dude, Pucca would not be the frontman in Squid Game. Pucca would be one of the players who destroys the frontman on sight, dude. However, we have not yet talked about the identity of Voozga. Ugh, okay, now Voozga is pretty tough to me because after the events of the live stream, there does seem to be a little more legitimacy towards Jimmy's ownership of the channel. Do I believe everything he and his team say? Personally, absolutely not. However, I do not think I trust Voozga entirely either. The account is pretty new after all, and their TikTok consists of very amateurly made videos with no proof that they are actually Voo. And when someone tried to look into the matter and actually got in contact with this person, long story short, the person did not send document proof that they were Bookyung and that Pucca was theirs when they said they were going to send those documents. And now the person who looked into the matter is worried that they might have been doxxed. So unfortunately, the Voozga account is exhibiting some red flags as well. Again, I could be proven wrong about this, but so far, Jimmy and his team have been able to cough up more evidence than Voozga. So, do I think that the Pucca YouTube channel actually got hacked? Unfortunately, no. After all, Calvin Kim, the co-creator of Pucca, did partake in his own NFT ventures with a Canimals NFT. Canimals being another IP of Voo's, which also ultimately failed. Wow, it's so hard to say Canimals. I'm so tempted to say cannibals. But anyway, so to be honest, it would not be surprising if more Voo's IPs attempted to launch more crypto projects. Sad, but true. Do I think Jimmy and his team have a good plan for the future of Pucca though? No. And unless they make some major changes and start actually listening to the community instead of acting defensively every time they go on a live stream or interact with fans, I'm pretty sure they're doomed to fail. I mean, to be honest guys, I'm not quite sure why they're attempting to revive Pucca in the first place. In the stream as well, Kamal stated multiple times how Pucca Season 3 received poor reception, and so none of the streaming services wanted to renew it for another season. And while I know that there is a Pucca fanbase out there, I honestly just don't think there's enough demand to justify another season. I'm sure Pucca is nostalgic for many people, but I think most of us can agree that if something's dead, we'd rather it just rest peacefully instead of having its barely recognizable corpse dancing around attempting to entertain us. It's uncanny and not the way fans would want to bring the show back. But anyway guys, that was my summary and my own personal thoughts of the Pucca situation. Let me know what you think. Did you also hear about all of this? Did you watch the shows growing up? Did I get anything wrong when explaining the timeline of this whole debacle? There was a lot of information to wade through, so I apologize if I wasn't able to cover everything or if I got some parts wrong, but let me know in the comments below. I just had to make a video though because I spent so much time going down this rabbit hole and scouring through so many fandom spaces in search of information. If you liked the video, give that like button a little smooch, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Huh?